Hello and welcome to My Mom's Basement, presented by Barstool Sports and 3Chi. I am your host, Robbie Fox. Along with me is my co-host, Clem. And today we've got a pretty packed show. You know, we're recapping The Last of Us each and every week. We will continue to do that. We're recapping The Last of Us episode 5 on today's show. But we've also got some Super Bowl trailers to talk about. The Flash and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I mean, I don't want to spoil our next podcast, especially because we're still under embargo. But I also just want to put it out there that me and Clem went and saw Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania last night.
The Basement Boys are getting a little sneak peek, little screeners and stuff, moving up slightly in the world. So very cool, very excited to have. It's so much easier to get your thoughts together and put it on podcast form when you have a couple days to kind of think it, and then it's ready for everyone as soon as they see it. If they see it opening night, boom, you get in the car on the way home or whatever, and you can just listen to us. So very happy that is the case. Hopefully we do that some more in the future. I think that'll be good for everybody, right?
Yeah, it was awesome. They gave us giant-sized quantum tickets and everything. We were in the IMAX in Lincoln Square. Like I said, we're under embargo, so we can't actually tell you guys our review about it. But look forward to that on Thursday. As soon as you get out of the theater on Thursday, our video and our podcast on Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania will be on the feeds. So look forward to that. Make sure you're subscribed on both, and you'll be the first to get it. No spoilers, but we had a great time at the movies together. It was the first time we went to the movies together since Endgame in 4DX, where we really just got the shit beat out of us by those chairs.
I'll tell you, man, technologies. IMAX is the example of a good technology that has really thrived in the theatrical environment. 4DX, which for people that don't know, it's supposed to you feel like you're in the movie, so it kind of jolts you around. I always thought
If
it was
raining, they missed you, stuff like that.
If you've ever gone to Disney or Universal, I feel like they have those 4D theaters where you feel like you're in it. I felt like a roller coaster, but it didn't really go with Endgame all that great. So it's been a long time. I saw Endgame, the screener there actually, with KFC back in the day, because KFC Radio got some screeners. Fight's gonna go, you couldn't go, so I got the ticket, and I still was like, holy shit, I can't believe, my mind was blown, obviously, after Endgame wrapped up. And I told you, I had seen a guy who had just left the theater. He was like, hey man, did you see Endgame? How was it? I was like, oh, it was awesome, blah blah blah. And he's like, oh, I'm in the middle of, did that 18-hour marathon where you just stayed in and watched every MCU movie up to that point, and then it rolls right into Endgame. And I was like, oh brother, you did the right thing. It is going to pay off in spades. I'm so jealous of that dude. He seemed like he was a little tipsy or he was
stuff. So he's MCU drunk. He was superhero drunk.
Yeah, I think he said Thor 2 was either on or it was in an intermission. I would like to think maybe he's like, I'm just going to take a break during Thor 2 and have a cigarette.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to get wasted during Thor 2 to make it through.
So I have very warm memories of that theater. So yeah, we'll have that for you guys on Thursday. But so we're going to get into these commercials. We're allowed to say Super Bowl again, right? It's no longer the big game. We can say Super Bowl for the next 363
we could say
days.
It, right? Yeah, I think we could say it. I think they're very relaxed on the trademark, especially the week after. Maybe they give everyone, their employees, a week off. Hopefully.
They're all on vacation right now anyway. I think anyone who dives into football, when even Big Cat is talking about taking a vacation, that's how you know that the football guys are all on vacation right now, is when that crazy motherfucker's actually taking a little break.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this on the podcast feed, I will have an interview with Cody Rhodes at the end of this episode. That is a 50-minute interview. We had a 30-minute block scheduled for us, and we went almost an hour. It was just like old times. It was awesome. If you're watching us on YouTube, just go over, check that out. It's already on the YouTube channel for you and under a separate video. It was really, really cool to sit down with Cody. I've known him for 7 years. It was the first time we ever did something in person like that.
Oh, wow. I'm shocked. I had no idea that was the case. I'm flabbergasted, Bob. Flabbergasted. You F-worded me on that one. That's fucking big deal.
Hey, speaking of the F word,
hit us with the thumbs up. Hit us with the thumbs up in the YouTubes, all that stuff. I always try to say that in the beginning of the videos, and I don't remember until about 50 minutes in, usually when we're recording these damn things. So
I usually say it the last thing that is on the podcast. I'll be like, oh yeah, subscribe. It's like, who made it to the end? But yeah, the other F word, the Flash. And man, it is kind of like the F word because it's dicey. It's like people are saying, are we allowed to be excited about this movie? Are we allowed to support Ezra Miller here? And after seeing this trailer, I saw a tweet that said this as well. It's like, we got to look at the kids that Ezra Miller held hostage and be like, sorry, It looks great.
Fuck them kids, the old MJ meme, right? It's like at this point, you have to think. I mean, we do live in a different world in 2023. Everything's a little softer now in terms of like, people are maybe more socially conscious. I feel like back in the day, you would have just straight scumbags who could be in movies. You're like, I'm going to see the movie anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I really don't care, right? But Ezra Miller is, I mean, as we've covered on the podcast, a very, very special person in terms of his super villainry.
He's an international terrorist, is what he is. And we've called him that. It's true. I stand by that. I don't like him as a person, but I think this movie looks fucking great. And especially after everything we've heard from like people we trust that are telling us that the hype is real about this. It's not just typical studio hype saying this is going to be the next big thing. It's crazy that they're going forward with it with Ezra Miller, but based on everything we're hearing, based on this trailer, it's like, well, maybe they have to, because what if it is one of the best superhero movies of all time, like James Gunn is saying?
It's so weird because with DC, you're not thinking, all right, they're going to do the right thing all the time, because DC has never really done that. I think they're just going to do whatever. But this, again, studios know what time we live in. And if they're still going to keep it going with all the shit that's gone down, now it makes a lot more sense. Now I think we can kind of agree, just based on, again, trailers almost always look fucking awesome.
Let's put this out there too. I don't think Ezra Miller should ever play the Flash again, even if this is amazing. I think they should recast the Flash afterwards. And this is, James Gunn has said, kind of like a reboot point. This is going to set the universe straight almost. So I think it's an opportunity to do that. Give Ezra Miller a fucking send-off. I've also always said I don't really like his Flash, if I'm being completely honest. I don't like his version of Barry. I expect him to be my least favorite part of this movie, even with a great performance, because in my mind, I don't know how I get past like, this is Ezra Miller. I'm watching Ezra Miller here, but it's loaded with other shit that's not him that I'm looking forward to.
It's loaded with Batman, Bob. Let's be honest. You're
That's
Batman, Bob, and you fucking love the Bat. So that's a big reason why you're saying something like that, which, hey, if you're not an Ezra Miller guy, that whatever. But let's also call a spade here. Bob loves the guy with the big bat on his chest.
That's what it is. So it's the Flashpoint story that they're going with. And in Flashpoint, it's either going to be Barry going back in time to stop his mother's death and therefore prove his father's innocence, because his father's in jail for his mother's death. Barry swears he didn't do it, or someone else sends him back in time. There's other Flashes in the comics. There's the Reverse Flash, Professor Zoom. There's Dark Flash that's been teased. Apparently, like some merchandise is leaked indicating Dark Flash might be in it, which is like a Black Flash that's also a zombie. So I don't know which version of the Flashpoint they're going with here, but there are similarities already in this trailer to the comic and the cartoon, where like you see the Flash is trying to recreate the shock that gave them powers, because they don't have powers when they go into this new universe. So they have to like recreate that. They actually go to Batman for help in the comic, but Batman in the comic is Thomas Wayne, Batman's dad, because Bruce gets shot instead.
Oh,
it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. But yeah, they're doubling down literally on Ezra Miller, because there's at least two of them in this movie. And Ben Affleck is the first Batman shown. He's back as Bruce Wayne, and it looks like we're going back to the day Zod invaded in Man of Steel. There's time travel involved with this, the Flash and Flashpoint and all that. I think they're going back to Man of Steel, almost like how they went back to the first Avengers movie in Endgame.
I was going to say, this is the DC Walmart. I don't know if Walmart's even the right word for it. What, Dollar General version of Endgame here? No offense to the DC fans. I don't want DC stands coming. I definitely do not want Snyderverse people coming at my throat here. But let's call it what it is. Like, if we're going back to old movies and stuff like that. And by the way, Michael Shannon is fucking awesome. Can I just say that?
Amazing.
Like, regardless of
one of my favorite actors.
Yes.
And he was the best villain that DC had. So it's smart of them to be like, let's just bring back the best villain that we ever put out there.
It is kind of funny, though, looking back and looking at the trailer, and you're just seeing Ezra Miller as this like problematic supervillain, and they're like, what's better than one Ezra Miller? Two Ezra Millers. It's like, that's the bad guy of the fucking movie right here. But you're 100% right on that, though. I think you can have an awesome movie here. You could be, man, Ezra Miller crushed this role, or he doesn't even have to crush the role for the movie to be good or great. but at the same point, I think he's revealed himself as a real liability. And once we get that reboot in the James Gunn universe, whatever we're going to call that, DCD, JG, whatever, I don't want Ezra Miller then to get, thrown in jail for 20 years and be like, well, we have to find another Flash now. Like, he's too important of a character. And I think you've kind of like shown your ass in Ezra Miller to be like, I can't be trusted, right? At some point, you kind of just have to cut bait and say, is it really worth it here? I'm trying to think of like I guess in a much different, like it's almost like if Marvel had Robert Downey Jr. when he just had a couple of little problematic things.
Yeah.
They got Robert Downey Jr. with like years and years, age and wisdom. He kind of needs the role, maybe. You got that point of Robert Downey Jr. If like they had Robert Downey Jr. earlier, maybe, I think they might have had to kind of do the same thing where it's like, I just don't think it's worth the trouble. At that point, he was worth the trouble. He put fucking the entire MCU on his back. And he was also like 20 years older at that point, and
even at that point, Marvel was skeptical. They were like, we don't know if this guy's worth the trouble, and Favreau had to fight for him.
Yeah.
So, I think to your point, that's definitely a possibility. The first shot of the Bat Manor from the Tim Burton movies in the mist, that made it move. But oh my God, when they go into the cave and you see Batman and it's Keaton and he looks exactly like he looked in 1989, because when you just show this much of the person, they haven't aged. And he gives that long pause. He's like, yeah, I'm Batman. And that long pause was everything. It was everything.
Yeah. Avengers Assemble. I mean, I am Batman. Like, he did the thing. We all pointed at the screen. We were the Leo meme. It was the truth. But yeah, it definitely made it move. And even seeing him, even the way he like swooped down and the pickup, like that was Keaton's Batman style, right? So that was very cool to see.
But he's fighting like the Batman from the fucking Arkham games, swooping down, picking people up, slamming them, boom! Like, holy shit, this is Michael Keaton. This is almost like, like people wanted to see like Luke Skywalker at his full powers, and we saw that in The Mandalorian season 2. This is almost like that version of this Batman.
If you guys are listening on the podcast, that's fine. I listen to 90% of my stuff through podcast. I think Heavy Spoiler is the only guy I listen to. I go on YouTube for him. But if you guys want to watch Robbie right now, he's beaming, talking about like it's almost as if we're talking about his like son getting on the honor roll or something like that. He's beaming, he's radiant. I haven't seen this look in Robbie's eyes in a long time. So that's how
all the bat suits too. The shot of the bat suits that I told you about the movies last night. You see a Michael Keaton bat suit that is gray with the blue cowl. You see like a scuba bat suit. Like, I want all of them as action figures tomorrow. You see the Batman Returns bat suit. That's my favorite because the way they take away one of the little swoops in the bat logo. I love Michael Keaton's Batman. If you want to go back, watch the Michael Keaton Batman movies to prepare yourself for The Flash, we did commentaries for both of those movies that you could sync up with the movies, and it's like a My Mom's Basement commentary edition of Batman, and they're super fun. We did them with my older brother. And also a great scene is where Supergirl, aka Kara Zor-El, is fighting in the snow with Michael Keaton's Batman and the Flash, and they're like, what do we do? And Batman's like, just try to survive. And then we see Supergirl come down. There's a slow-mo shot of Batman going to punch somebody, and Kara just comes from left field to punch him beforehand. And that was just like, that's how I expect Supergirl or Superman to fight. Pretty fucking cool.
It was cool to see like a super person, I guess to say. It's not Superman, but a super person without their suit on, just kicking the shit out of people.
Yeah.
And it's like
she was in like asylum gear, almost like she was like imprisoned.
You know who I was thinking of? The Asian girl in The Boys, when she just starts fucking people. You're like, oh boy, that's the kind of level.
Rips a guy's face off, and you're like, oh. By the way, On the Boys season 3, officially On the Boys season 3.
Yes, he's almost caught up with us now.
Almost.
Lady Fox is loving it.
Yeah, loving it. Yeah,
loving it. Everyone, if you haven't watched The Boys, people were doing this to me, and now I'm gonna do too. You gotta watch The Boys. It's so fucking good. I think like the next Boys season will be probably, unless there's an Avengers movie or a Guardians movie, it'll be like the number one thing I'm looking most forward to in that time frame. You know what I mean? Like, that's how much I love The Boys.
And we got Gen Z, is it? No, it's not a prequel, but it's almost like the X-Men First Class type Boys series coming up pretty soon, I think, spring.
I think it's coming up spring or summer. So that's going to be, there's a lot of shit coming down the pipe. We have to actually like go and take a look at the release timelines. Cause at some point we're gonna have to figure out how we're going to like get all this shit recorded, put it on.
We
wax.
need to give like a presentation to the My Mom's Basement listeners, like we're Kevin Feige, like showing the timeline. Here's what we're going to cover for the year.
Yeah, exactly. Those things are so fucking helpful too. I love those things so much. You know, it's not helpful. These commercials coming out like the Super Bowl, coming out during the Super Bowl. And let me preface this, say this might be an old man thing, but I think I felt like this for a while now. It's hard to take to like it's hard to watch the Super Bowl. It's a hard thing to do because if you're a sports like, so I'm a sports fan, but I also like watching the commercials. I like the entertainment, and then also as like someone that is geeked up about these movies and stuff like that, it's kind of like you're watching it for work as well. It's just like 3 hours and you don't get to take a break. And then also, if you're at a Super Bowl party, you're having conversations. If you're hosting like I was, you're getting stuff, you're getting food. If you have kids, you're trying to like stop them from killing themselves nonstop. It's a lot of work. I didn't see the Flash commercial until this morning before we recorded. And that's the reason why. So I just had to get on my soapbox and let it be known. And I want to know that I'm not alone. Please tell me.
What's your solution to that, though?
To what? So at this point, the commercials are just
because I don't like them releasing the commercials early.
So I'm with you on. So that's the other thing. I'm with you on that. You wrote that blog, and I was in lockstep. Finding out that Heisenberg was going to be, on the big game, it kind of killed it for me. However, maybe it's like I don't really view the commercials as a big deal anymore. And I'm like, if something's really good, it'll just appear somewhere on social media. It'll appear on the blog. It'll appear somewhere in my universe at some point. And I do the thing where I'll go on YouTube and look at like top 10 best commercials. The USA Today used to do like a ranking every year, and I'd look at their rankings, and if something interested me, I'd find the YouTube for it. But it's just one of those things. It's like, so it's like I can't just not watch the game because I'll miss something awesome potentially in the football game. Plus, I cover sports for a living, and then the commercials. There's just so many just flops that it's like,
oh my God, so many.
If it's
80%, maybe 90% are flops.
So I didn't see this one. I kind of I heard it. It was going in and out. There was a commercial where they kind of did the Austin Powers thing where they would do like the giant dick in the sky where they'd say a word. I saw the Undertaker was on. He's like, Undertaker. And I was like, that commercial, I still haven't seen it. I'm going to go back and watch it. That one I thought was very good. But all these movie trailers, it's just too much.
And I got a bone to pick with this Guardians 3 trailer that I'm going to tell you about right after I tell you about Game Time. Our friends at Game Time are back on the podcast, and they are the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Created by fans for fans, Game Time is the ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, shows, and more. And they guarantee the lowest price. They crack the code on how to score last-minute deals on tickets, and it's possible with the Game Time app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. I love Game Time. I've used Game Time in the past for concerts, sports, WWE shows, UFC shows. You could use it for all of this stuff. Disney on Ice, Kevin just used it for. So if you're a parent like Clem, take your kids to Disney on Ice, or the Harlem Globetrotters. I saw they're coming to town. The purchase process takes just 2 taps and 10 seconds. And once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone, no printer needed, which is amazing. The worst is right before you go to a concert and you realize you got to print out the tickets and you're like, all right, I got to find a Staples right now. Like, that is always a hassle. The app also allows you to share tickets with friends via text so you could get into the game seamlessly. You don't got to all crowd together, go in together. Just send them to your friends, skip the hassle, and enjoy the moment. If you download the Game Time app or go to their website and enter your email and redeem the code MMB, you'll get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but redeem that code MMB for My Mom's Basement. You'll get $20 off your first purchase.
Keep the lights on down here, kids.
Keep the lights on. So my bone to pick, or my gripe with all these trailers, is specifically with the Guardians trailer. They put out a 30-second TV spot and said, go to the YouTube page and see the full trailer there. Now, if we're trying to watch the game, if we're trying to watch all the commercials, now I have to ignore the game and the commercials to watch the trailer for the thing that I watched the trailer for. I watched the trailer to a trailer, essentially. And it's like, Marvel, you're fucking Marvel. I know times are not hard over there. I know you're not paying your CG artists very well, which is an issue. They got to figure that out. But why are you like skimping out on a 90-second TV spot? You're only doing a 30-second one. You want to send us to the YouTube channel for your hits there? That annoyed me a little bit. And it's a great trailer, but I was like, I got to go to the fucking YouTube to watch during the Super Bowl right now.
I would never deceive someone to make them go to YouTube to try to get false. Never. That's just not what the Basement Boys do.
Clickbait, like, come on.
I find it offensive, actually. Yeah, do you think like someone had a goal and they're like, well, by March 1st, we need to hit a certain number on our YouTube. So just send the millions upon millions of people watching. I'm with you too. Like, again, this is someone that doesn't have time to like. It just seems like overwhelming. So you're like, oh no. And now I have to pull out another device to then watch it, as all the shit that I said I have a trouble like getting into my brain at once is going on in the second screen. So now you're giving me two screens plus whatever chaos is going on at the Super Bowl party. That was fucked up. I know that they're laying off 7,000 people at Disney. So I guess Bob didn't see this. So things aren't going that good over there right now. So
7,000 people. Holy fuck. Maybe times are hard.
Our boy Bobby Iger, I think, is trying to fix some stuff up. So I don't know if like cutting 60 seconds worth of Super Bowl commercial time will really do that. But that's the only way I could figure it makes sense. But it was, you said, holy shit, you watched the Guardians trailer. And at this point, I'm like, I probably can get it in the next hour. And I'll be honest, I could just like during the Super Bowl halftime show is when I can catch up on stuff, no matter who's singing. I know everyone loved Rihanna, which by the way, pregnant Rihanna, like 30,000 fucking feet in the air was wild. I didn't know, like pregnant women, I know you could do a lot of stuff. They even say you could like sip on some wine. I just never thought you'd want to be hanging off of like a thin little wire, thousands of feet in the air. So that was crazy to me, but I'm with you, Bob. It was just another, it's like the QR codes too. Click our QR code. Motherfucker. I am not getting up from my seat, clicking on my phone. Like, here's $10,000. That's how you fucking get me to click it.
Yeah.
If you're watching this and want $10,000 right now, click this QR code. I'll consider it. But other than that, kiss my grits. There's no way in hell. However, all that being said, we're like, if there's one property that I'm going to go out of my way and go the extra mile for to watch the trailer, it's Guardians if it's not an Avengers movie. So my ass was there, your ass was there, and I'm sure most of the people listening and watching were there too. So goddamn you, Disney. Like, they know they have us by the balls.
And they do. The intro to the trailer features Star-Lord recapping the love story between him and Gamora in about 15 seconds. It's a quick, we fell in love, then she went away, but then she came back, and now she's a dick. And the rat catcher from the Suicide Squad is actually that alien-looking girl on the elevator with them during this. Nebula right away reaffirms this. She's like, yep, that's kind of what happened. Great song choice. Since You've Been Gone by Rainbow. It was a song originally written by a guitarist named Russ Ballard. It's covered by Rainbow. That's the one that's featured in the trailer here. I love that they didn't go with the Space Hog the second time in a row, that they changed it up and went with a song that I didn't know before.
I agree as well. I was kind of almost, I don't know why I was expecting Space Hog. I'd rather have no music than Space Hog again. I love Space Hog. I could listen in the meantime nonstop. It takes you right back to like 1997 or whatever it came out. I have another take that's a little off the beaten path here. I'm just going to make it because if I put it in written form, it could probably get just skewered, especially on Twitter.
Oh,
I want to take back the rainbow.
What do you mean take back the rainbow?
I don't want to take back the rainbow
from LGBTQ.
Yeah, people? I don't want to take back the rainbow. I want to be included in the rainbow. Can I be included in the rainbow? I love fucking rainbows, and I want to wear a shirt with a nice rainbow on it. But I feel like I'm making a statement. And I support. I am an ally.
You're an ally. Yeah,
I'm an ally.
Then you could wear the rainbow.
I can wear the rainbow. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
then I'm gonna wear the rainbow.
Allies are included.
I've been looking at rainbow shirts a lot lately. There's like it has like the little rainbow. It's like where the polo horse usually is on shirts. Yeah. And I'm like, I fucking love that. I was on the subway yesterday. I had a couple of nice rainbows in an ad. Like, rainbows are just a beautiful thing. But see, if I tweeted that, Bob,
you cannot put that take out there on Twitter.
Yes, especially I got
on the podcast. We're all joking around, safe space here. We're in the basement chilling. Can't put that in writing.
You see, like I have like the Barstool hat as like my avatar, and they're gonna be like, "There goes Barstool again." Blah blah blah. I love Pat. I love Joey. Joey
Yeah.
is like the funniest fucking person we have here. But it's like I just wanted to say. I mean, you said rainbow. It popped in my head. I used to have rainbow sandals. I like to have a little rainbow on there. But yeah,
Yeah, you could still have it. Yeah, you're an ally.
we got to see our boy Star Lord. He was down. He was down bad. When you have the liquor bottle on the bar and it still has the little thing in it, like to pour the shots, that's how you know our boy is going through some fucking shit. And I appreciated that they dove into the Gamora aspect of it because it has to be weird when you're with your girl and it's not your girl though. It's kind of when your girl, like you said, was a dick and there it sucks, man. It didn't hit me as much in Infinity War or even Endgame, just how much it sucks not having the old Gamora back. Because she was so like just seeing her change was so awesome, I thought, in the second Guardians movie, which is like one of my probably my favorite non-Avengers Marvel movie. And now she's just gone forever. But I guess if we get this kind of bickering and stuff like that, I guess that makes it all right. And I don't know how much we saw this in the first trailer. But the what's his
High
name?
Evolutionary.
High Evolutionary. I never realized like it's like he has like basically the face is torn off and then it's being held onto his face. I never noticed that until this
clipped on, stretched. You see his
Yeah.
skin is kind of stretched, messed up looking. And I made a note: are we sleeping on the High Evolutionary? Because we've been talking about Kang, and he's worthy of it, right? But we haven't really been talking much about the High Evolutionary. And from the looks of this trailer, he's going to be shown experimenting, even torturing baby Rocket, who has the sweetest eyes I've ever seen.
Oh,
that's
sweet.
as evil as it gets. So I think we might be sleeping on this guy.
He is so goddamn sweet, those little eyes. Now, and I'm worried. I mean, I think we're all worried about our boy Rocket right now. There's,
super worried.
I'm scared to look at all the trailers or the YouTube videos where they break down the trailer because I feel like at this point they might as well just show Rocket's death. Just show it in the teaser. Get my like emotions out. I could bury him then, and then I could go and watch the movie and probably have fun with my James Gunn jokes and his great songs and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't like it. We might be sleeping on the High Evolutionary a little bit because doesn't he have some sort of he has like an alliance or he has some tie backs to Mr. Sinister, right?
I think he does.
And and Mr. Sinister is one bad dude as an X-Men guy. So we have it's almost like everyone's already just giving Patrick Mahomes their MVP votes. And it's like, well, not so fast, my friend. Like there's this other guy over here, Jalen Hurts, who's pretty fucking good too. And I feel like High Evolutionary may be the Jalen Hurts to Kang's Patrick Mahomes. So you'll have to listen to our Quantum Mania review to know how we feel about that. But as of now, the thing is so I guess I was going to say the Guardians, it feels like their villains are a little detached sometimes from the rest of the MCU. But considering like Ronan, I thought he stunk. I hated Ronan. That's one of my biggest reasons I like 2 more than 1. And Ego was awesome. And I just hated how they killed him, even though I feel like he's almost too powerful to just maybe
he's a
Vader spin out, right? He is a planet. But we did have Thanos, who was always a part of the Guardians, and is technically still kind of part of the Guardians universe just because his 2 daughters are there. So I guess High Evolutionary could stay still. No matter what happens in this movie, keep the High Evolutionary around. Stop killing our villains. Stop killing our villains.
Also, I know we're talking about Rocket being dead, but Drax is more dead than a dead guy's ever been before a movie came out.
I need Batista just to say, like, yeah, they killed Drax. Like,
there's that shot of him with like a blaster bolt in his chest. I'm like, are we watching him dead right here? Almost like, and he's dead.
Batista's at the point where he wants to be an actor, wants to be taken seriously, and I'm happy for him. At this point, like, just start. Don't spoil the whole movie. Just tell me you're dead too, so I can bury Drax. It's not. What would hurt more, a Drax death or a Rocket death for you?
Rocket.
Yeah.
Rocket looks more like a dog. That's easy for me.
That's a fair point. What about where's Groot fit on there? Considering Groot already died once.
Groot might be third because I know we could replant Groot, and I know it's a different Groot, but like it's similar, And
is this wrong? Groot has now made it to the age where he's not cute anymore. He's kind of stumpy. Right? He's a very weird shape right now. And
I like the design, but he's not cute.
Yes. And I will be like, well, that is cute baby Groot grown up. And that would make me sad if he died. But like you said, there is like we know as long as there's a splinter of Groot found somewhere, we could just replant him, throw some Jackson 5 on, and he's gonna be all right when all is said and done. So I'm with you. Rocket, Drax, Groot. I guess Star-Lord would be like fuck.
That'd be
it would suck as a character that we would lose too, right? And then I guess Gamora, Nebula, they've both died. They both died in each of the Avengers. In Gamora dies in Infinity War. Nebula, the old Nebula, bitch Nebula, dies in Endgame. Mantis, I don't know. Where does Mantis fit in there for you?
After holiday special, she definitely gets more points for me.
Yeah, I feel like, and she's like feels like the sweetest of these fucking dickheads.
She's like the most pure for sure.
Yeah, so if she died, I'd be like okay, I'm gonna call my shot now, which as you guys know, my shots are not very good. I don't have a very good shooting percentage. I'm J.R. Smith though. I keep shooting. I don't care. What is Dion Waiters had a line like, if I'm gonna miss a one, it's better to go like 0 for 100 than like 0 for 6 because that means you kept believing in yourself. Drax is gonna die, and it's gonna be protecting Mantis. He'll sacrifice himself for Mantis because they've had that very unique relationship this whole time. So I'm calling that one I just thought of on the fly right now. And as someone that has her higher on my list than Drax, I'm gonna be happy she did that.
Nice. I like that prediction. Rocket seemingly has a love interest in this one. It is an otter named Lila. In the comics, she is the heiress to the largest toy-making empire on Half-World. That's what I read about her.
Huh. That's the place where like the animal people are living, right?
Yep.
I always love like the heiress or these random, like my buddy on spring break, he was telling people that he was the heir to, or his dad invented Donkey Kong or something. And that was his story. He was like going up to girls and hitting on girls with or something like that. I could never just be like a straight like liar. I wonder if she's fibbing here. And I also appreciate that it's an otter. I wonder if we're going to get like, keep the wrong animal name shtick going here where they call her a beaver or what's another, a marmot, something
woodchuck,
like that. A woodchuck.
Something like that.
I will say this too. Otters, everyone check out the Norwalk Aquarium. I believe they have some otters there. Fascinating to watch in person.
Yeah.
Just mesmerizing. I could watch them for hours there. I think I'm going to take my kids there next week. I have the kids for the whole week by my goddamn self because my wife doesn't get off of work that week. And we're going to go to the aquarium. We're just going to watch some otters swim. It's going to be a delightful time. Nice. Bob, you're more than welcome to join if you'd like.
All right. If I'm around.
Uncle Bob.
There's that shot of Peter reacting to something where he's screaming. He's looking down at something. Not good. Whatever he's reacting to is not good. But that 2-second clip is already one of the best performances I've seen all year. Unreal by Chris Pratt. And then at the end, there's a little tease of a Peter Quill Nebula connection where they're like, sounds like Nebula. And no, we would never know. But that was very funny.
Like he always said it was Sam and Diane were him and Gamora. Maybe him and Gamora were Sam and Diane. So maybe him and Nebula or Sam and Kirstie Alley, which I know this goes over the head of a lot of the youngs on the podcast,
goes over my head,
my co-host. But for the people that watch Cheers is such a good fucking show.
Oh, Cheers. That's a popular show. People will understand that.
little throwback to the Guardians there. So I loved, I don't know. I got a kick out of that too. Cause and especially cause I'm in love with the actress who is the redhead in Jumanji, who for people that know
Karen Gillan.
Yeah. I think she's Scottish or something like that.
Oh yeah. I think she does have an accent, maybe Australian. So I don't know what she is. She's got an accent though.
But
she shaved her head for the movie famously. She shaved her head and they were like, whoa. Yeah.
Ride or die. I've really grown to enjoy Nebula.
Same.
And as much as I'm sad we lost the new Gamora, everything's changed. I'm happy we don't have the old cranky Nebula like that. She'd like turn on you. She was like, this Nebula is a lot better. She still is much worse. She's colder in her soul than any Gamora ever has been. But I can live with this Nebula being around, or else I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. The line where she keeps eating the root and it's too raw or whatever. Still like an all-time thing. Just makes me laugh every time I watch Guardians too.
It's amazing how much that paper football scene did for Nebula in my
Yes.
eyes. With Dear Mr. Fantasy playing in the background, playing with Tony Stark. Like that one scene, I was like, all right, Nebula. I could fuck with her. I like her.
Dude, I couldn't get Dear Mr. Fantasy. I had that as a dozen question. I couldn't remember the name of it. It
Oh
devastated me.
man.
Devastated.
That's bad. You know what's not bad is Factor. Our
Ooh, yeah.
friends at Factor make some amazing, amazing, fresh, never frozen meals that are ready in just 2 minutes. So all you have to do is heat it up and enjoy. No matter what your lifestyle is, Factor has delicious, flavor packed meals to help you live to the fullest with keto, calorie smart, vegan and veggie, and protein plus options on the menu each week. I've been seeing people in the office heating these up. Brandon Walker was heating up a Factor meal the other day. Walked past, I was like, ooh, is that jalapeno chicken? He was like, you're goddamn right, it is, Robert Fox. And I said, that's delicious stuff. I love that stuff. 34 chef prepared, dietitian approved weekly options. There is always something fresh to try. Plus, you can round out your meal and replenish your snack supply with an assortment of 36 sweets, smoothies, juices, and more satisfying add-ons. Get Factor and enjoy clean eating without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered straight to your door. They're ready in 2 minutes, no prep, no mess. I love this stuff. As I said, I legit eat this stuff. We ordered Factor after the subscription, after the free thing ran out because we liked it so much. Head over to factormeals.com/Robbie50, ROBBIE50, and use that same code Robbie50 to get 50% off your first box. That's code Robbie50 at factormeals.com/Robbie50 to get 50% off your first box. This stuff's amazing. I promise.
Our boy Tony Stark would have been in a much better place with Nebula if he had his Factor. He just wasn't thinking. So don't get caught in the middle of space without Factor. So get your Factor now. Robbie 50, ROBBIE. We don't mess with those BY people. We just don't do it.
We don't mess with the wise. What we do mess with is The Last of Us. The Last of Us is the best show on TV, and it continues to break our hearts every single week. We got 1 week off. We got a bye week last week where they said, all right, we're not going to kill anyone you fell in love with this week, right? I mean, Clem, you lost out on your car. You really love that pickup truck. I know.
I did.
But this week, they fucking doubled up on us.
Robert Matthew Fox, what did I ever do to you? What did I ever do to you to deserve having to watch this show? You made me watch it. You forced me to watch it. And listen, part of it was I'm a baby and I don't like scary things. So you knew that going in, but then I know you didn't get too far in the game, but you had to have an idea about some of the stuff that happens. You just kind of like make me just get my heart ripped out every week, and then they put it back in my chest. They grow a new heart in me, and then they rip it out every single week. This is like the third fucking dead kid I've had to watch die on my screen. What have I ever done to you? I always thought we had a good relationship. Is there like another text chain where people from work? I'm like, I'm just fucking with Clem. I'm ripping his heart out. I'm going to see, like, are you looking to see when I'm going to break or something? Because I just don't get it.
No, I'm not, but I understand. It's like Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom. Kali Ma, rip the heart right out your chest. That's what The Last of Us does each and every week. By the time the credits are rolling, you're just feeling like defeated and down and empty inside, and like the world is coming to an end, like you're in this apocalypse. Sam and Henry, spoiler alert, pour one out for these two. What phenomenal performances by these kids. We talk about it all the time. I mean, Henry was a little older. I don't know if he's a kid, but child performances are very hit and miss in movies, television, all media like that. Sometimes the kids are a little annoying. Sometimes they're written poorly. Sometimes just the delivery isn't on par with the rest of the adults or whatever. Sam was incredible. A real deaf actor who was in the post thing. Yep. He was talking about actually how great it was that there was like representation for deaf actors and that deaf actors were able to play deaf characters. And he wasn't deaf in the video game. This was another change that the show made, and it worked so fucking well. By the end, with that little notepad that he was using to write on everything, the meaningfulness of that notepad by the end, like, holy shit, what a call, what a change, what a detour to make from the game. Whoever made that call in the writer's room, give them a bonus this week.
If they can make it better than the game, they're going to do it, right? And like that would be hard to do in a game where you're dealing with a deaf character, a lot of writing and stuff like that. I can understand why it would be hard for a game to do that. they crushed it. It made the character nuanced. It had that special bond between the brothers, and then as Ellie's learning it with him, and then it just, you're falling in love with the goddamn kid, and they're just building you up. I should have fucking known. I mean, it's crazy to think they ended the previous episode with the fucking guns pointed at Ellie and what's his name,
Joel,
and then they're dead by guns.
Yeah,
by
that same
guns.
gun.
The same fucking gun, man. That is some dirty ass shit. That is some dirty stuff. But and like you said, this is like probably the second or third big change we've had from the video game, and it was absolutely perfect.
Another one that they knocked out of the park. So the beginning of the episode shows you a little backstory on Sam and Henry, goes back on them, and shows how they found Joel and Ellie, them overseeing the shooting in the laundromat and everything, following them, fleshes out their backstory a bit, and has a bit of a life is beautiful element to it, where Henry is trying to hide the world and the horrors of the world from Sam. So him being deaf actually works to Henry's advantage in doing that, because the people could be like, oh, get out of here tomorrow. Like, we don't want to be with you. And he'll turn to Sam and be like, oh, they said they're going to save us. Everything's all good, buddy. Like, we're going to make it out alive. And we find out Henry ratted out Kathleen's brother, who sounded like a pretty great guy, to get Sam leukemia medicine in this episode. So it really pulls on all sides of you. Like, oh my God, he ratted someone out to Fedra. Like, what a horrible guy. And it's like, to get his little brother leukemia medicine. And you're like, oh my God, he had to do it.
They took the gray angle where it's like, not, the world isn't black and white, it's gray, and they beat the fucking shit out of us.
50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you had to get your little brother leukemia medicine during a fucking worldwide apocalypse scenario, and you had to rat out the greatest man. I don't know her brother. I've never had the pleasure of meeting him. I loved him. And I've only heard his name and a couple of very brief stories about him. That guy was basically Jesus Christ, from what I can understand. Yeah. He was the absolute, the GOAT, as the kids say. And now it kind of makes sense why Catherine is the meanest motherfucker on the planet. She is Kathleen. Kathleen is the meanest lady in the goddamn world. She's just so mean. She's so mean, Bob. She's so mean.
She orders that room to get executed. She's like, burn the bodies. It'll be faster.
And
oh my God.
There's a lot of Fedra in that, right? Where Fedra's just burning the bodies without thinking. Joel kind of just throws the kid down. And again, anytime I reference stuff I've seen in a video, it's always my guy Heavy Spoilers, because he is like my Bible to all this stuff. And he kind of made the comparison about the two. And it is kind of like you see the two sides of love, where it's she, the reason Henry and the reason Joel with his daughter, and now kind of with Ellie, like, you just love these kids and you want them to do well. But then you kind of see the bad side of it, where Kathleen loved her brother so much that she's kind of gone like rogue and fucking pure evil. Also, I gotta shout out that it's kind of a flashback scene. It's not a huge jump, but showing, actually, no, it's not even a flashback. Showing when they defeated Fedra in Kansas City.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that was like the Red Wedding. Did you get Red Wedding vibes at that?
Yeah.
They're going nuts. They're dragging bodies
through the street with all the knives in the body.
The one with the 10 stab wounds in there. That was fucking crazy. There's just people begging for their lives. Again, their asses kicked. They're getting shot at point blank range. It was like a red hue almost. You know what I mean? So it was wild.
All the fire everywhere and everything like that. Yeah. It's a crazy visual.
I had a big time Red Wedding vibes, but then also finding out that our boy Henry was deaf kind of was a tough look for our guy, Joel, right? Like a deaf kid is helping, and they can't find the deaf kid. You figure at some point he's going to make a noise or do something. But also shout out to, what's the older brother's name? Sam? No, Sam is.
He was Henry. The older
Henry's
brother.
the older
Sam
one.
is the deaf one.
Yeah. Sam.
A lot of new names every week. They're we can't stick with a single character 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, because if I fall in love with them, I'd know their name, and then they're just going to be dead and out of my mind.
By the time you like them, boom.
Yep, just like that.
Gone, dead.
Making the kid Super Sam was such a smart thing to do, and you kind of put the orange paint on his face. That was awesome, and like you said, where he's lying to kids is the best because they believe everything, especially if they can't hear a goddamn thing. Like AJ is too smart for his own good. He'll always try to pick apart. He can kind of sense a lie. But being able to kind of do that with Sam and Henry was awesome. And I feel like when he threw the paint on him, that was almost like giving Frankenstein from Big Daddy his glasses, where he just
I was
felt
gonna make
invincible.
that reference. I swear to God, I turned to my girlfriend during the episode and I said, "This is just like Frankenstein, Big Daddy." One of my favorite movies. I swear I was gonna make that reference. I'm so glad we were on the same page.
That's the Basement Boys for you.
Henry tells Joel and Ellie he can get them out of the city, kind of points to it from a high rise, and says that he just needs their help because the tunnels that they need to go through to get under the sewers or whatever might have a bunch of infected in them, which is like, oh God, we're going down to the fucking tunnels with flashlights now. I was very worried about this, but no infected really down there. They find a classroom shelter set up, and they talk about how people went underground as soon as the outbreak happened. Some of them actually survived a little bit. And this is where they talk about how Henry hasn't really killed anyone, but he got somebody killed. So he feels that moral dilemma. And Kathleen is shown in her childhood bedroom. She says that, her last time seeing her brother, he said to her, make sure you forgive, like you have to forgive. And she's like, I can't forgive. Pretty fucking crazy, like cold line. Even though she's burning bodies, she's a cold woman.
She's a bitch. She's a cold ass mean bitch. That's what she is. But at the same point, you kind of understand it, which when they called it Kill a City, I was like, that's pretty dope. And if I lived in Kill a City, I'm sure I'm sure I would become a very cold person inside as well. So I really didn't have a problem with that. And I did admit it. I wrote it down in my notes here. When they went in the tunnels, I lowered the volume. I did not mute it, but I lowered it. And
your baby steps, Clem.
Yes, I was relying on the closed captioning for most of the stuff that happened. I fully admit that. But come on, man, we're going down to fucking tunnels down there, and they're telling you how there's no infected. So I'm like, oh, there's going to be a ton of infected. But like you said, so far so good on all that kind of stuff. And they did say, he mentions, like, he calls them by clickers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just love the way that that Henry and Joel were kind of feeling each other out, where it's like, oh, you got a clicker, you're good, or oh, like he lays out his whole plan and he kind of knows what he's talking about. I kind of like that dynamic of the whole thing, and the kid dynamic where they're kind of just interacting with each other. I don't imagine they come across kids a lot in this fucked up world when they're looking at the joke book together and they're laughing at the jokes. And I sent you a picture when I was in Arizona for the dozen. I saw it was called Julio's 2, TOO, just like the TOO pun on the joke book. And I was like, I got to eat here. And I'll tell you, Bob, it was fucking awesome. Anyone in Scottsdale, go to Julio's 2. I was just looking for a quick place, not a sit-down Mexican place. I want to get some Mexican food since I'm down south, not a sit-down place. Basically, like you order at the counter and you just bring it back. Perfect spot. Mwah. I think I had like a 4.7 on Google reviews. So that's what do you go with? If Bob Fox is looking for a place to eat, do you go on Google reviews, Yelp? Or are you just going blind?
I pretty much go in blind, to be honest.
You go in blind?
Yeah.
That's a wild man's move. I guess that's
maybe
why
I'll
you're the
go
size
on
you
Google.
are and I'm the size I am.
Yeah, I'll never go on Yelp. Maybe I'll go on Google. Maybe.
I've become a Google guy just because I feel like Yelp bombing has become a thing, and I'm sure people Google bomb.
The Karens are on Yelp, I feel like.
Yes, the Karens are on Yelp. Google is a little above their brain waves capability. But at the same point, usually if I'm looking for a new place, I have to find it. So I'm already on Google Maps. So it's kind of two birds, one stone. I don't have to go up. I'm a big review guy in general. Amazon reviews, I always go based on.
I should be, but I'm not.
Like if something is 3 stars, that doesn't bother you. You're just like, well, all right, I'll figure it out when I get it.
Clem, I don't even see that it's 3 stars. I don't scroll down far enough.
It's the top of the. Oh my God, you're star blind. You're star. This is why
star blind.
Lady Fox had to get you a microphone because you were probably buying microphones that were 1 stars. I
did buy a microphone that I used for one episode, and everyone said it was even worse than the one that I had before. So I went back to the bad one. Now I'm with the good one.
We're learning a lot about Bob Fox on this episode, everybody, right now. I have a plugin on Amazon that even tells you if the reviews are legit, because the thing is, a lot of people have like found ways to like get, it's like Chinese bots, or they'll have some way to like game the system, and this thing will tell you if it's like these reviews are a little sus, and they'll tell you, like, they'll give you a review of the reviews, 5-star reviews, but it's an F because sometimes I was looking up a couch the other day, Bob, and halfway through the reviews they started talking about a coffee table. And I think they changed the item from a coffee table to a couch.
Oh,
There
they
is some,
control F'd it.
yes, there's some shady shit. They controlled F the fuck out of it. So
You're a fucking review detective. We need a new whodunit detective crime series about you know, scoping out fake reviews.
Yes, I would say at Barstool, I am a top 3 informed consumer here. Top 3.
Oh wow!
I'd say
what a stat to give yourself.
That's a,
you know,
that's
don't get too egotistical on the podcast.
Now look around, Bob. Look around in your mind's eye at the people who work at Barstool.
I'm thinking.
I'm not too worried about.
No, it's you.
Claim.
Yeah.
No, so you. Jeff D is up there, right? You figure Jeff D low, but he also will buy these fucking lunch boxes, these beans in his shower. So it's like, I don't even know.
Beans in his shower. He does.
The man has beans in his shower, and I'm like, and we're at the point now where I feel like half the guys here are gonna like Portnoy. He couldn't give a fuck about reviews anymore. He's just gonna spend money. I
unless it's for a pillow, and then he's very interested in pillow reviews.
That's true. If he's looking for something and a pillow, I think is like, again, the most important thing you can basically get in your life. So a little tangent there, but
tangent.
Like, do you think Smitty? You think Smitty puts in as much work on his Amazon reviews and buying? Yeah, exactly.
I don't even want to disrespect Smitty. We shouldn't even brought him up, but no, obviously not. No, come on. So they make it out on the other side. They wait till nightfall to make sure it's dark. And when they make it out, seems like it's safe for a second until a sniper starts shooting at them. So they take cover. Joel goes around, takes out the sniper. He doesn't want to. He's like, come on, man. Like, just put the gun down. Like, don't make me do this. You just stay in the house. We hear the gunshot, and he called it in. So they're basically caught. The whole fucking rebellion comes in for them, and it looks like they're cornered. It's like, how are they going to make it out of this one? Until one of those trucks falls into the ground like a sinkhole, falls down, burning house and everything. And then a horde of clickers, infected, all the different variations of those zombies come up, led by a big, what it's called, a bloater. I called this a big fat clicker, and people on TikTok were like pissed at me. They were like, learn the phrases, learn the terminology. It's a bloater. The bloater comes up, and it is all out chaos. There's hiding in cars. We see a kid clicker like climbing into the car. Joel's trying to snipe from above. It is all out war between the rebellion, the clickers, and then our kids trying to make it out, basically. Eventually, the kid clicker kills Kathleen. And it is so satisfying to see, like I said, it was almost like Chucky, like jumping on her. Like it's just a little crazy maniac thing. And they make it out. It seems like they all made it out safe until Sam starts asking Ellie if she's ever afraid. You ever get scared? And she jokes with him first. Oh yeah, scorpion scared me. And then she realizes he's serious. He's trying to have a heart-to-heart here, and he shows her a bite on his leg or his arm. I think it was his leg. And she's like, oh no. She panics, cuts her hand, and she's like, my blood is medicine. Like, you'll be okay. My blood is medicine. The next morning, she wakes up. He's facing the window, and you see where it's going immediately. It's just like, oh no. She's like, Sam, full on infected, jumps on her, jumps on Joel. Henry sees it. Henry doesn't know what to do. Henry shoots Sam, realizes what he just did, and then shoots himself. It is so sad, so shocking, so tragic. And the episode ends with them burying the bodies and Ellie leaving that little notepad on Sam's grave, and it says, I'm sorry. And Heavy Spoiler said in his video, total survivor's guilt. Total, that could have been me. And I have this, special gene that makes me not infected. And this kid, why couldn't he have that? So somber, so melancholy, so sad.
So I'm not going to talk about the motel scene right now because I'm still not ready, even though I knew that was basically the end of this podcast right there. I'm still not ready to talk about it. Even though, like, cue the Portnoy soundbite. What an idiot! What a fucking idiot, Ellie! Your blood, it ain't medicine like that, girl.
Yeah, not like that. Come on,
you idiot.
Yeah. And then to go to sleep next to him, like, holy fuck. I mean, you're real confident in your immunity.
Snipers are awesome. Like,
so in everything.
I love in video games being the sniper. I hate facing a sniper in video games. In the new Call of Duty, there's a guy sniping at you. That's fucking the worst. But you just feel so helpless in this game, you know, in movies and stuff. Or when you have a sniper on your side, you're like, oh, we are ready to rock. That the dude, when I thought it was going to be, and that's the thing I appreciate about this show, is it's not always like, oh, the sniper's coming and he has the entire house booby trapped and whatever. He's just an old dude. It's like, he probably might have even heard it. He's just like, fuck it. And at the end, he's like, and Joel was like begging him, please, dude, like, don't do this. Just give up, surrender, and I'll let you live. Because at this point, like, the living are supposed to be on the same team, right? And he just fucking kills him. By the way, when Henry said Joel had an asshole voice, I was like, he does have an asshole voice. That was a great call. The run truck popping up out of nowhere. And then, like you said, it goes down and it's the thing that springs the infected. And even the way Kathleen gets killed by the little girl after she said, like, it was your kid's fate to, you know, die from leukemia, and kids die too. And that's all part of fate. And then fate being a little kid that got infected, killing her. Mwah, perfect fucking, I don't know,
poetry.
Symmetry. Yeah, it rhymes.
It rhymes.
I love when the villains that you hate or fear become the good guys. And I'm like, I'm rooting for the infected at this point. How fucked up was that? And then we see that I said that big boy looked like the current Groot. As we talked about earlier on this episode, he was like just a big trunk of a dude, and he's big. And I was lucky. I didn't say anything on Twitter. I didn't want to get yelled at. I'm happy you took. Listen, Last of Us fans, take it fucking easy on us about we don't know, you know,
the terminology on the infected. I've been saying infected all podcast because I feel like that's a safe, encompassing word.
I have to get that into my repertoire because I've always been trying to figure out what to call them, because I'm like, I don't want to say clickers because then they'll be like, well, that's not a clicker, Clem. He doesn't click at all. He's not infected enough. Infected is the word I've been, because I don't want to say the Z word. You say the Z word around these people, you home zombies, you're going to get fucking, well, actually, till your fucking death. But that bloater comes out and he rips the dude's like head apart. He does the spoiler alert, like the fucking Wanda from Professor X, who just rips the dude's fucking head apart. That was fucking that was metal. Confirmed metal here. And
so metal.
I loved when he's sniping to keep Ellie alive. And it's like in a video game level where you have to keep sniping to keep a character alive. And again, this is more of an older head kind of a thing here. But in GoldenEye, you had to keep Natalia alive. And that dumb bitch was the fucking biggest lemming in the world, just looking to kill herself nonstop. And basically, like, it's the one thing that can get you ready for parenthood, because your kids are going to always look to, like, go near the electrical outlets or go near, like, climb on the thing that has the TV on it. Like, they're just looking to die. So I appreciated having that kind of old school video game vibe. And I mean, I don't know, the motel scene fucking sucked. I should have known it was coming. I don't know who I'm gonna fall in love with this coming week, and then who they're gonna rip from me. But I'm already fucking pissed about it. I'm already mad about it. I think I'm going to title a blog, "The Last of Us is the worst show on TV," and then people are gonna click it in anger. I'm gonna say it's the best show on TV, but it's the fucking worst show on TV because it's so fucking good. It's so emotional, but like at this point, I think they could do this to me every week. I'll keep coming back for more. And I don't think I'll ever be at the point where, like, all right, I don't really care. Like, I'm always going to be 100% invested in love and then devastated by the end of every episode. Hashtag the worst of us. That's the hashtag for our
nice one.
Today. So
it's so good. It makes you feel like you're grieving every week.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God. I have enough fucking sadness in my life. I don't need this kind of, actually, I was going to say, as a Mets fan and a Giants fan, I made, like, the Mets get the wild card, Giants made the playoffs, manager of the year in both fucking things. I can't complain too much. So I was going to use the old sports analogy. I think it's turning around for me, Bob. I can't wait to find out how The Last of Us is going to rip our guts out this week.
I have a different phrase that maybe we could use for the infected too. Maybe we could call them fun guys.
Fun guys. Hey!
Yeah, come on. And back to your point about how crazy kids are always going for the electrical sockets and everything. I don't know if I ever said this on the podcast. Frequent guest of the podcast, my older brother, Mike Fox, as a 3-year-old, once stuck a key in an electrical socket and got electrocuted.
Really?
He was watching Big Bird's Big Adventure or something like that. And Big Bird gets put in jail. And he was like, oh, let me go let Big Bird out of jail. Took a key right into the electrical socket.
Oh my.
Pretty crazy shit.
I have every electrical socket in this house had the little plastic things in them
Yeah.
forever. And every time I see one now, I just take it and just chuck it out. I'm like, thank God I don't have to deal with that kind of shit anymore. And it's funny. I once had quick tangent here. A friend of mine's daughter, when she was the first kid out of our group of friends to have a first baby out of all of us, and she's crawling towards the electrical socket, and they would say, "No, Natalie, no," and she would just shake her head no as she was crawling at it. And they say the no, like, thing that you do with your head, it's from babies. That's what they do. Like, that's how they like communicate no, and they just know it's wrong, yet they still fucking do it. So
Yeah.
Mike, this actually kind of explains a couple things about Mike, though, that I've always thought about. Had a quick jolt of electricity. That's like number one. My number one fear as a parent is the stairs. No playing on the stairs. It always freaks me out. Number two is the electrical fucking outlets. It always just freaked me the fuck out.
Yeah, and now after The Last of Us, number 3 could be the clickers, the infected, the fun guys.
Or like at this point, I look forward to going in dark tunnels where there's potentially a ton of infected fucking monsters, because it's not as bad as losing all the loves of my life through like the most devastating, sometimes beautiful love stories you'll ever see. And then just like, oh, God damn you, Last of Us, the worst of us.
Well, there you go. There's the hashtag for this week. Hashtag the worst of us. Again, if you're listening on the podcast feed, stay tuned for an interview with Cody Rhodes. And if you're watching on YouTube, go check that out on our YouTube channel. Next, it was a 50-minute chat, just like old times with Cody. That was so awesome. We talked about Dusty Rhodes. We talked about WrestleMania, Roman Reigns, wrestler etiquette, all of that and more. Hashtag the worst of us. If you've made it to the end of the episode, make sure to like and subscribe. As we told you at the beginning, we remembered at the beginning this time.
Shout out to us.
And we will see you on Thursday for our Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania review and breakdown.
It's Kang! It's Kang! It's Kang!